Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 3, Book 40, number 552. Narrated by Asma bint Abi Bakr. The Prophet prayed the eclipse prayer, and then said, "Hell was displayed so close that I said, O my Lord, am I going to be one of its inhabitants?" Suddenly he saw a woman, I think he said, who was being scratched by a cat. He said, "What is wrong with her?" He was told, she had imprisoned it, i.e. the cat, till it died of hunger. Volume 3, Book 40, number 553. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Apostle said, a woman was tortured and was put in hell because of a cat which she had kept locked till it died of hunger. Allah's Apostle further said, Allah knows better. Allah said to the woman, "You neither fed it nor watered when you locked it up, nor did you set it free to eat the insects of the earth." Volume 3, Book 40, number 554. Narrated by Sa'al bin Sa'd. Once a tumbler, full of milk or water, was brought to Allah's Apostle, who drank from it, while on his right side there was sitting a boy who was the youngest of those who were present, and on his left side there were old men. The Prophet asked, "O boy, do you allow me to give the drink to the elder people first?" The boy said, "I will not prefer anybody to have my share from you, O Allah's Apostle." So he gave it to the boy. Volume 3, Book 40, number 555. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "By him in whose hands my soul is, I will drive some people out from my sacred fount on the day of resurrection as strange camels are expelled from a private trough." Volume 3, Book 40, number 556. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, "May Allah be merciful to the mother of Ishmael. If she had left the water of Zamzam fountain as it was, without constructing a basin for keeping the water, or said, if she had not taken handfuls of its water, it would have been a flowing stream." Juram, an Arab tribe, came and asked her, "May we settle at your dwelling?" She said, "Yes, but you have no right to possess the water." They agreed. Volume 3, Book 40, number 557. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "There are 3 types of people whom Allah will neither talk to, nor look at, on the day of resurrection. They are, 1, a man who takes an oath falsely that he has been offered for his goods so much more than what he is given. 2, a man who takes a false oath after the Asr prayer in order to grab a Muslim's property. And 3, a man who withholds his superfluous water. Allah will say to him, Today I will withhold my grace from you as you withheld the superfluity of what you had not created." Volume 3, Book 40, number 558. Narrated by As-Sab bin Jathama. Allah's Apostle said, "No hymner except for Allah and His Apostle." We have been told that Allah's Apostle made a place called An-Naqi as hymner, and Umar made Ash-Sharaf and Ar-Rabada hymner, for grazing the animals of Zakat. Volume 3, Book 40, number 559. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, "Keeping horses may be a source of reward to some man, a shelter to another, i.e. means of earning one's living, or a burden to a third. He to whom the horse will be a source of reward is the one who keeps it in Allah's cause, prepare it for holy battles, and ties it by a long rope in a pasture, or a garden. He will get a reward equal to what its long rope allows it to eat in the pasture or the garden, and if that horse breaks its rope and crosses 1 or 2 hills, then all its footsteps and its dung will be counted as good deeds for its owner, and if it passes by a river and drinks from it, then that will also be regarded as a good deed for its owner even if he has had no intention of watering it then. Horses are a shelter from poverty to the second person who keeps horses for earning his living so as not to ask others, and at the same time he gives Allah's right, i.e. rakat, from the wealth he earns through using them in trading etc., and does not overburden them. He who keeps horses just out of pride and for showing off and as a means of harming the Muslims, his horses will be a source of sins to him. When Allah's apostle was asked about donkeys, he replied, "Nothing particular was revealed to me regarding them except the general unique verse which is applicable to everything. Whoever does goodness equal to the weight of an atom, or small ant, shall see it, its reward, on the day of resurrection." Volume 3, Book 40, number 560. Narrated by Zayd bin Khalid. A man came to Allah's apostle and asked about al-Luqata, a fallen thing. The Prophet said, "Recognize its container and its tying material and then make a public announcement about it for 1 year, and if its owner shows up, give it to him. Otherwise use it as you like." The man said, "What about a lost sheep?" The Prophet said, "It is for you, your brother or the wolf." The man said, "What about a lost camel?" The Prophet said, "Why should you take it as it has got its water container, its stomach, and its hooves, and it can reach the places of water and can eat the trees till its owner finds it." Volume 3, Book 40, number 561. Narrated by Az Zubair bin al-Awwam. The Prophet said, "No doubt, one had better take a rope, and cut, and tie a bundle of wood and sell it, whereby Allah will keep his face away from hell fire, rather than ask others who may give him or not." Volume 3, Book 40, number 562. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle said, "No doubt, you had better gather a bundle of wood and carry it on your back, and earn your living thereby, rather than ask somebody who may give you or not." Volume 3, Book 40, number 563. Narrated by Hussein bin Ali. Ali bin Abi Talib said, "I got a she-camel as my share of the war booty on the day of the battle of Badr, and Allah's apostle gave me another she-camel. I let both of them kneel at the door of one of the Ansar, intending to carry Idkir on him to sell it and use its price for my wedding banquet on marrying Fatima. A goldsmith from Bam Kanka was with me. Hamza bin Abdul Muttalib was in that house drinking wine, and a lady singer was reciting, 'O Hamza, kill the 2 fat old she-camels, and serve them to your guests.' So Hamza took his sword and went towards the 2 she-camels and cut off their humps and opened their flanks, and took a part of their livers. I said to Ibn Shihab, 'Did he take part of the humps?' He replied, 'He cut off their humps and carried him away.' Ali further said, 'When I saw that dreadful sight, I went to the Prophet and told him the news. The Prophet came out in the company of Zayd bin Haritha, who was with him then. And I too went with them. He went to Hamza and spoke harshly to him. Hamza looked up and said, 'Aren't you only the slaves of my forefathers?' The Prophet retreated and went out. This incident happened before the prohibition of drinking. Volume 3, Book 40, number 564. Narrated by Anas. The Prophet decided to grant a portion of the uncultivated land of Bahrain to the Ansar. The Ansar said, 'We will not accept it till you give a similar portion to our emigrant brothers from Quraysh.' He said, 'O Ansar, you will soon see people giving preference to others, so remain patient till you meet me on the day of resurrection.' Volume 3, Book 40, number 565. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, 'One of the rights of a she-camel is that it should be milked at a place of water.' Volume 3, Book 40, number 566. Narrated by Zayd bin Thabit. The Prophet permitted selling the dates of the araya for ready dates by estimating the amount of the former, as they are still on the trees. Volume 3, Book 40, number 567. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet forbade the sales called al-Mukabara, al-Mahakala and al-Muzabana and the selling of fruits till they are free from blights. He forbade the selling of the fruits except for money, except the araya. Volume 3, Book 40, number 568. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet allowed the sale of the dates of the araya for ready dates by estimating the former, which should be estimated as less than 5 awsaq or 5 awsaq. Dawood, the sub-narrator, is not sure as to the right amount. Volume 3, Book 40, number 569. Narrated by Rafi bin Khadij and Sal bin al-Hathma. Allah's Apostle forbade the sale of muzabana, i.e. selling of fruits for fruits, except in the case of araya. He allowed the owners of araya such kind of sale.